Hello, and welcome to Industrial Safety and Hygiene News, ISHN, the Safety and Health Professionals magazine. I'm Jennifer Pierce, Multimedia Content Specialist for ISHN.com, and today I'm speaking with Matt Brenner, an expert on safeguarding codes for machinery. Matt is Vice President and General Manager at Rockford Systems in Rockford, Illinois. Today, we're focusing on an industry-wide problem, specifically the misapplication of safety equipment by end users using internal resources and/or hiring unqualified vendors. Matt, can you elaborate a little on the problem you're seeing before we move into some questions about solutions?
Sure. I think the first thing to understand or to talk through our requirements and standards. They're different, but both have a really important place in the safeguarding industry. Regulations are law, and they basically explain what you must do, but not specifically how you do it. And there are very few machine-specific regulations today, namely presses, grinders, forging machines, woodworking machines, or a few that are still used and valid today. OSHA is the regulatory agency, and in addition to those machine-specific standards, they also have some general requirements that are used by all of industry. So OSHA is very vague, very few machine regulations in industry. So that in itself is somewhat of a problem. You have standards then, and standards are voluntary, but they're generally used by industry as kind of the how-to comply. So OSHA tells you what needs to be. The ANSI standards tell you how to get there. And generally speaking, the ANSI B11 series standards are the guideline in our industry. They have standards that are both specific for machines and those that are all-encompassing. And again, it's really kind of like a guideline or your goalpost as to which methods of safeguarding are acceptable for different types of machines. And then more importantly, and to play into what we're going to talk about later, misapplication, the ANSI standards really lay the groundwork for how to apply safeguarding equipment properly.
Why is misapplication of safety equipment by end users a problem?
I think it's an alarming trend. It's become a bigger and bigger problem over time. There was a time when we used to visit our client sites and we wouldn't see a lot of safety equipment, and that's unfortunate, right? But today we see lots of safety equipment in plants, and unfortunately, it's quite often been misapplied. And I think the root cause of that is a couple of reasons. One, safety has really caught on in the manufacturing industry. And I think that today there are finally metrics in place that show business leaders that there is a return on their investment, that they can in fact save their business money if they invest in plant safety and machine safeguarding specifically. And so there's a demand, that wasn't in place before. And because of that demand, there are lots of options in the marketplace for buying safety equipment. It's abundantly available. You can buy safety equipment from Amazon, industrial safety equipment from Amazon. The problem is that it's often sold by companies like Amazon that don't understand or offer application knowledge. They provide the equipment, they don't tell you how to integrate it. So the result is that there's a whole lot of safety equipment in industry that's currently being misapplied. That's a problem because the end user who buys it is really left with a false sense of security.
Interesting. Okay. So how does annual auditing reduce risk?
Annual auditing, I'd say there's two main reasons that it's going to help reduce risk. The first is that it gives you an opportunity to analyze machine change use. So what does that mean? As a machine changes or the use changes over time, you really need to validate that the safety equipment is still providing the proper risk reduction. And in some cases, modifying or replacing the safety equipment might be necessary. Secondly, I think it's going to identify safety equipment that's been modified, removed, tampered with, bypassed. It's, as we talked about earlier, it's a situation that can lead to non-compliance with safety regulations or standards, and or exposure to risks and hazards that are unacceptable.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate your time.
For more features like this throughout 2022, please visit our website at ishn.com. Thank you for listening.